The most ambitious SpaceX vehicle yet continues to inch closer to leaving the atmosphere. It's been over a year and a half since we've seen a prototype of SpaceX's next-gen Starship spacecraft flight, with its first flight with a super heavy rocket, has been perpetually pushed back during that time. Musk, who also currently helms Tesla and Twitter, tweeted Saturday that he's hopeful the first orbital flight of Starship could happen as soon as next month. "We have a real shot at late February. March launch attempt appears highly likely," he wrote. SpaceX launched a series of Starship high-altitude flights in 2020 and 2021 that saw a three-engine version of the spacecraft fly to the stratosphere and come back for a series of landing attempts that all ended in explosions, except for the final, successful attempt on May 5, 2021. Shortly afterward, SpaceX announced that it would switch gears to begin producing more Raptor engines, testing Super Heavy booster prototypes, and preparing for the first orbital launch of Starship. The plan is for Starship to blast off from the company's starbase facility in Texas atop Super Heavy, which will return for a landing on a platform in the Gulf of Mexico after separation, while the Starship vehicle continues on for a quick trip to orbit, followed by a splashdown landing in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Hawaii. The flight plan has been stymied by a number of delays, largely tied to the process of getting a launch license from the Federal Aviation Administration. The company's application first had to go through an environmental review process that lasted several months, concluding with the agency allowing the mission to go forward, but requiring SpaceX to make dozens of modifications to its launch plan. The company still hasn't secured its permit to launch from the FAA as it works through the required changes, while simultaneously continuing to manufacture and test Raptor engines and get Super Heavy ready for its first launch. The next Starship flight has been just a month or two away, going back to June 2022, when the FAA announced its decision, and this latest update continues that pattern. SpaceX isn't the only party with an interest in seeing Starship fly again. NASA has selected it to be one of the vehicles it flies to the moon, as part of the Artemis program aiming at returning astronauts to the lunar surface this decade. SpaceX is developing Starship with the goal of traveling to the Moon and Mars, setting up permanent human bases on both. In order to reach such distances across the solar system with significant payloads, SpaceX is building Starship to be the most powerful rocket ever made. The projected 7.25 million kilograms of thrust is nearly double the 4 million kilograms of thrust produced by the current record holder, NASA's Space Launch System. SpaceX has already secured a multi-billion-dollar contract with NASA to use Starship as a moon lander, having already worked with the U.S. Space Agency to deliver astronauts and cargo to the International Space Station, ISS. The latest of these collaborative missions helped take SpaceX past 200 total launches since it was founded in 2002, with more than 160 of the launches resulting in the rocket's landing. SpaceX had 4 rockets on 4 pads and 2 Dragons on orbit today, as CRS-26 Dragon departed the space station with Crew 5 Dragon still attached to the orbiting lab, Falcon Heavy rolled out of the hangar, 2 Falcon 9s readied for launch, and Ship 24 was stacked onto Booster 7, SpaceX tweeted on Monday night.